Hello, YouTube family, my survivors, my wonderful, wonderful fellow brothers and sisters in this world who are going through their own struggle. Excuse as I am having allergy, something I'm allergic to in my apartment. I don't know what it is, and I'm going to be going out for a while today, so hopefully that will help me quite a bit. So I said I was going to do a story about when I got shot. I banged my head off my son's hood the other day. I've got a black and blue mark. It hurt, so you think I probably would have a mark. But anyway, I was 29 at the time. I was working at a restaurant, a nice little restaurant in Abingdon, Virginia. If you don't believe me, you can look it up. It's called The Hardware Company. On the main road in Abingdon, Virginia. And I had finished a shift one night. I was a little tipsy because I used to drink the leftover drinks that would go back. I was an alcoholic. So I went home a little tipsy, and my husband was already drinking when I got there. Well, funny, he wasn't my husband at the time. Y'all are going to really think this is crazy. But I get home, and we had a roommate at the time. Well, he did. I didn't particularly want the person there, but he went to school with him. His name was Chi-Chi. And he was his roommate. I don't know what their agreement was. I never saw any money change hands. I knew he had issues. He was on psychotropic drugs. And that particular night, I was accused of stealing money from under the mattress out of my man's wallet at the time. Now, mind you, I'm working a job and I'm a prostitute. I'm making the money. He's not working. Why am I going to steal my own money when I'm giving it to him? Makes no sense. The person living with us was the one who was taking the money. But in his drunken stupor and in his whatever thinking he had, he began to accuse me. And I was afraid because when he didn't get the answer or response he wanted, he went and got his .22 automatic that I bought him. By the way, when you think about this stuff, it's just like you can't make it up. Now, this is further on. This is way after New York. And this is where I met this man and fell in love with in New York when I was a runaway at the age of 15. But now I'm 29. This is years later. But I'm telling this story for the friend who wants to know about my near-death experience. So I'm standing there looking at him with this incredible fear because I saw him shoot someone else not too long before that. I don't know if it was before that or after, but I know he has a temper, and I know that sometimes he just don't care. I don't know how or where his mind was, but he's a very smart man, but just sometimes very careless and thoughtless and selfish. There was good in him, but he just was so broken, like many of us are broken. Anyway, I digress. So he's screaming at me, and I'm saying, I didn't do it. I'm crying, and I'm begging him to please put the gun away because he's already shooting in the roof, and now my heart's racing, and I'm really freaking out because I'm thinking, this is not good. We're both drinking, first of all, and he's very angry, and he's very unpredictable. The next thing I know, he looks at me and he says, shut up. I'm so sick of your shit. And I'm like, I swear, Kenny, I didn't do it. And I heard this loud bang and my eyes closed. And then I smelt this burning smell. And I looked down and I saw a hole in my shirt. It was a green and white striped shirt. I remember. I don't know how I remember. I just remember. And I looked at him and I said, oh my God, you shot me. And immediately, I could see his face, he just couldn't believe what he did. And I ran out the door. There was a screen door that went outside of the house. We lived on a hill. And I ran out, and he stopped me in the yard, and he said, please, Michelle, don't run. He goes, if you run, he goes, he used to be in the Army. He said, your blood's pumping. If you have internal bleeding, you could bleed to death. So he made me lay down in the yard, and I'm begging for my life. I'm saying, please take me to the hospital. Please take me to the hospital, because I had looked after I got shot and the bullet didn't come out. So I knew that it was in there. And he said to me, you're not going to put me in jail, are you? And I'm like, no, Kenny, you're not going to let me die, are you? So he sent his friend that lived with us, a Chi-Chi guy, to get his sister, who came up in the car and took me to the emergency room. And they did this, and they said they had to take me into emergency surgery. They had to do exploratory surgery because the bullet had ricocheted. And I was bleeding internally. And I'm begging the doctor, I'm saying, can I please just get above the table and leave. I didn't want to be there. I wanted to leave. I was so afraid. And I was alone. And I knew that I had not lived a good life. He says, no, honey, you have to go in, you know. They didn't tell me how bad it was, but I could just feel the urgency, you know. So as they're wheeling me into the operating room, I'm praying the only prayer that I knew, which was the Lord's Prayer. I'm sorry. It's just really emotional for me to think about. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. I prayed the prayer because I knew that at that moment, there was a heaven and a hell. I was going to hell. And I want mercy. The next thing I remember is waking up with all these things going off. So much pain that I can't even tell you. Like, I didn't have a dream, or I didn't, this near-death thing wasn't like, you know, I had anything spectacular happen. I just nearly died, and it changed everything in my life. So I'm laying there and I'm thinking to myself, I'm in so much pain. They were giving me, like, I think it was 150 milligrams of Demerol an hour, and it wasn't doing anything. Like, it just made me really messed up and pain, and looking around like everything was just distorted. And then I remember they wouldn't give me anything to drink because they had something down my nose to pump my stomach, because I had my bowels had shut down, everything had shut down because of the damage. And that they had to remove everything but a third of my pancreas, which I didn't find out till later. But anyway, it was just incredible pain. And I don't remember when or what day, but my boyfriend, husband, he wasn't my husband at the time, but my significant other's mother and sister came into my ICU, into our intensive care, or critical care, CCU, and wanted to talk to me. And they were asking me to please not send him to jail. And I said to the nurse, because I could barely talk, I said, please, please, make them leave. Can you believe that in my moment of almost dying, even then people wanted me to give every little bit of what I had left, like it wasn't important if I lived or died, or how I felt, or what this might have done to me, or the years of abuse that I had dealt with, because I loved this man so dearly, and went back to him after this, by the way. So nobody came to see me in the hospital. And we had court, I think it was like 3 weeks later, and the doctors let me leave the hospital for a few hours to go and testify, where I testified that we had fought over the gun and that it was an accident, because he was in Petersburg mental psych hospital or something. And, you know, I did still love him. I know it's crazy. Like, I look back now and I think that's insane. Now that I've went on to heal a lot and realized and done some work on myself, you know, it's just like, what were you thinking kind of thing. But then I look, and I've also done the work on myself, looking into my life and realizing everything I came from led up to that point. The only people that came to see me were 2 people I worked with. They were Christians. My mother never came. My adopted mother never came. Nobody in family ever came. So I was alone. So I went back to him, yes, for 2 more years. I got pregnant with my son, but that's a story for another day. I really have to go. As you can see, I'm getting ready to walk out the door here shortly, in like less than an hour. So I love y'all. Have a blessed day, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Hey, hope you enjoyed this video, my friend. You know who you are. Bye.